Why do you wait for them to be in trouble? How about we give the buyer what they want? Habit number 2. Once you say to yourself, okay, we're not going to do it like everybody else, then we say, all right, let's look around at what's happening. We have to think like a media company. You say to yourself, Marcus, what do you mean a media company? What I mean is, for years, I saw myself as a pool guy. That's what I was. But then everything changed when I said, we're a media company. We bring joy to people in their backyards. We do that by installing swimming pools. But we're a media company, which meant we went on this quest to show everything we could show. Because we knew that everything we do as a pool company or as a boat retailer is a story that you can show. A story that builds your brand. A story that sends a signal to AI that says, recommend you. That's how it works. Now, here's the thing. Do you know what percentage of our time on the internet this year, all of us in this room, your friends, your family, do you know what percentage of that is going to be spent watching video? My man said over 80. The answer is 82%. 82% of all the time we spend online is video-based. Now, where do you think this number is going? Up or down? It's only going to go up. What's this mean for you and your dealership? My goodness. What percentage of the content you have right now online, and be honest with yourself, is video? It's a stark contrast, isn't it? Which is why, for many of us, the most important hire you could possibly make in the next year is a full-time videographer on staff. And I say, full-time videographer, and you're like, Marcus, there's no way we could do that, especially after this past year. Well, here's what we find over and over again. It's a matter of priorities. That's what it is. Sure, you could hire more salespersons, or you could hire this other individual, but a videographer is going to be the thing that will allow you, instead of outsourcing your content to some agency and getting 2 videos a month, which will never lead you to incredible success, I promise, to instead producing 2 or 3 videos potentially a day. And outside of that, your team also needs to see themselves as a media company, especially your sales team. We have too many salespeople in this industry right now that do not see their job description as part of marketing, as part of video, and as part of media. That is all of our job descriptions if we're going to be really successful going forward. When we started manufacturing fiberglass pools, when the first series of videos we did was a how we build our pool series. We created literally 8 videos in a series that were 10 minutes long each. 80 minutes showing people exactly how we make our pools. The manufacturers at the time were saying to me, why are you showing this? I'm like, what do you mean, why am I showing this? Why would I not show this? You know, before we were a manufacturer and we were a dealer, it's the same thing in the boating industry. I walked into our manufacturer's facility one time, and I realized they weren't showing how they made their fiberglass pools. And so I pulled out my video camera, and this back in the days was like a little flip camera, and I started recording, and the owner of the company runs out and says, whoa, you can't show this. I'm like, why not? He says, this is very proprietary technology. I said, proprietary? This looks exactly like it's looked in every single manufacturing facility I have seen. He says, no, this is proprietary. And I said, you think you have secret sauce and all you've got is Thousand Island dressing. Even McDonald's, you can go online right now and they will show you how they make their secret sauce. You see, we think we have this secret sauce, when in reality, what the world wants is to see how the thing is made. We charge these huge prices for this thing called a boat, and people don't realize, well, why does it cost so much? How many hands touch that singular project? You see, it's through the story and showing them the story that they can see the value. This is how river pools exploded, because no one else is willing to do this thing. And then we've got this mega trend of short form video. It's not just long form anymore. We're talking vertical, short form video that you can make on your daggone phone right now, which is why every single rep that you have, and I mean every single rep you have, has a better camera right now than Hollywood had anywhere 25 years ago. This is better than any camera Hollywood had 2 decades ago. And you look at this vertical video trend is only going to continue to build momentum. TikTok comes out with vertical video in 2018, an incredible algorithm, and then suddenly Instagram, Facebook say, oh gee, we gotta get on board. YouTube says, we gotta get on board. You see, they were being slow. The leaders were being slow. disrupted by TikTok. They've got to embrace it too, or they're going to be left behind. And you've got to embrace it because this is what the market wants. Because many of you in the future, instead of being found on Google, you're going to be found on TikTok. You're going to be found on Instagram. Because that's what many of your future customers are going to be using. You've got to become great with social. And I'm not going to apologize that there's more work for us to do. And this is why when you have something like a full-time videographer, now all of a sudden you can be producing content at a rate that your competitors cannot keep up with. One position. And then you get your sales team involved and you continue to rock. I'm gonna make you 2 promises when it comes to video. And I mean these as sure as the day is long. Number 1, the future of marine retailers will be dictated by those that can quickly and effectively create their own content. You will not outsource your way to success in this industry in the future. You're not gonna outsource through another video production company, somebody writing articles for you. You must learn to do it. You've got to be the artist. You've got to hold the paintbrush. You can't ask someone else to hold the paintbrush for you and think you're going to create a masterpiece. I promise it won't happen. My company works with organizations all over the world on this very thing. And I'm telling you, we've never seen someone become the most known and trusted brand by outsourcing their story to someone else. You got to create it. Promise number 2, and I will drive this stake in the ground so hard until we as a group hear it. The marine industry is now video first. Not even images, video first. Are you ready? And let's just do a quick poll and let's be honest because we're all friends. We're all friends here. Raise your hand if you can absolutely positively say, yes, Marcus, we are a video first dealership right now. We're obsessed with it. My team is producing it every single day. Raise your hand. Look around this room. Look around the room. There's so much opportunity. I don't get depressed when I see that. I get excited for you because it means your peers, they're not doing it. And this is the best of the best. That's why you come to Dealer Week. You're the top gun. You're the maverick. You know, I've been impressed with certain salespeople in this industry. I'm just going to mention one, Ethan Howard. He is just a regular salesperson with Collins Boating. But the thing about Ethan is he's producing videos constantly that's going up online on his TikTok channel. He's got hundreds of thousands of views, and he is just a regular salesperson for a dealership. This should be table stakes at this point. Every salesperson needs to think like my man Ethan Howard right here. That's the vision. And as he builds his brand, he feels good, and he builds your brand. And as you build his brand as a dealership, everybody wins. Sometimes I see dealerships say, well, I don't know if I want them doing this because they might leave me. Like what? Come on. What are we thinking? Help them build the brand. They'll get more loyal to you and vice versa. That's how it works. Habit number 3. We said, we're going to learn to disrupt. We're going to lean into change. We're going to break rules. We're going to start thinking like a media company. We're going to show everything. We're going to have that videographer. My sales team's going to start producing those videos. And then you say, well, what do I need to talk about, Marcus? I'll tell you what you need to talk about. And that's the mindset of, we have to be willing to talk about subjects, say and show what others will not say and show online. What are you discussing right now online, on your website, on social, that the majority of your competitors are not willing to discuss? If you have ever been with me before, you know there's 5 subjects that buyers constantly research in this industry before they buy a boat, before anything to do with any purchase. And it's not just marine, but it's prolific in this industry. The 5 subjects are, as buyers, consumers, we want to know, how much is it? Give me a sense for pricing at least. We want to know, what are the problems, the negatives with it, the objections, the fears, the worries, the concerns. We want to know, how does it compare to that other thing that I'm looking at? We want to know, what are the reviews, the good, the bad, and the ugly? And we want to know the best, the most, the top. How many times have you gone online and searched these phrases or similar phrases? This is the economy of search. This is what your buyers want to know. These are the questions they're asking. But unfortunately, we still don't get it. I mean, perfect case in point. Y'all heard that in the last 15 years, I have bought 7 boats. I am your buyer, all the way. Now, during this time, I have seen thousands of boats advertised. Now, let's get uncomfortable together for a second. How many times over the course of 15 years and purchasing 7 boats have I called the dealership to request a quote? 0. 0 times. Call for quote is the literal middle finger of the internet. Now, some of you are saying, but the manufacturer, they won't let us talk about it. I found it very interesting this year when many of my dealership friends were doing everything they could to move product, to liquidate whatever they could. Finally, some of these manufacturers said, you can talk more about pricing online. I thought, where's it been? Why do you wait for them to be in trouble? How about we give the buyer what they want? Now, I'm not saying you give an exact price, but we all know if you can't give them a sense for pricing, because that's what they want. They don't need the exact price to call you. What they need is to be able to answer the question, am I in the game or not? Which is why you should be producing content that talks about this and explains value. Because if you don't explain the value of a boat and what goes into a boat, then who will? It doesn't stop there. I want to do a test with everybody this morning. And I want you to really analyze how well you have addressed the questions your buyers want to know online. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you 3 sets of 10 questions. I'm going to read the questions. I want you to keep track of how many you've addressed. I want you to take this activity really seriously, okay? So the first 10 questions, these are the most common questions people search when it comes to general buying concerns of a boat. And I want you to keep track as I read them. How many have you addressed? When I say addressed, I mean you literally have an article, a video online right now whose title is something like this, okay? Here we go. What are the hidden costs of owning a boat? Is buying a boat worth it? How much does boat depreciation affect resale value? What should I look for when buying a used boat? How do I know if I'm overpaying for a boat? What's better, buying new or used boats? Are boats a good investment? How do I finance a boat purchase? What are the risks? What should I inspect before buying a boat? How do I avoid getting scammed when buying a boat? All right, now I want you to write down on your little notepad, how many of these 10 have you addressed? You got it so far? Next set. This is our audit. This is our audit. Here's the number 1 ownership fears and costs. Here we go. How much does it cost to maintain a boat annually? What is the biggest expense of boat ownership? How do I prevent my boat from breaking down? What happens if I can't afford my boat payments? How much does it cost to replace a boat engine? How do I keep my boat from deteriorating in salt water? What are the risks of storing my boat outside during the winter? How much does boat insurance cost, and is it worth it? How long do boats last before they need major repairs? And what's the real cost of fuel for a fishing boat? Answer, a lot. A lot, okay? How many of these 10? I just want you to keep track yourself for now. Have you addressed directly online? Not generally, directly. Final set of questions. Ready? Here we go. These are the buyer regrets and long-term worries. Fear drives our industry, friends. What do people regret about buying a boat? How do I avoid buying the wrong boat for my needs? Is boat ownership too much work for me? Will I have enough time to use my boat? How do I know if my boat is too big or too small? What are the most expensive boat problems to fix? How hard is it to resell a boat if I change my mind? What happens if a boat loses value quickly? How do I avoid spending too much on boat accessories? And how can I ensure my boat purchase isn't a mistake? By a show of hands, how many of you have directly addressed well more than 10 out of those 30 questions online? I literally see 1 hand in the room. This is what they want to know. And if you don't teach them, who will? These are the questions you would have. But you see, these questions, they're a little bit like, oh, I don't even want them thinking about fuel costs. Come on! They're going to think about it. And if they're going to think about it, they're going to ask it, they may as well learn it from you. That's the essence of they ask, you answer. That's the essence of obsessing over the questions, the worries, concerns. You know what? We could take each one of those 10. I could meet with any of you. And I'm telling you, especially now with AI, you could knock out 10 of those a day in video form if you wanted to. But we got one person in this room that's got a 33%. We got improvement opportunities.